The wine was gut-wrenchingly bad, but there was plenty of it. I sure had my share, and then some. It was Jim's 38th birthday party at the Medieval Inn in Gastown, a raunchy old restaurant back in the 80s, and it was decorated to look like an old English castle with yellow sconces on the wall and huge dimly lit candles on the table. The tables were long and wooden and easily seated the 12 people we'd invited. We weren't served by waiters, but by wenches in low-cut dresses and 2 frothing glasses of beer in each hand. It was dark inside. I could hardly find my way to the bathroom. But I easily found my way back to the table, because by that time the guys were singing old English rugby songs. A good time was had by all, I think. The next day I could hardly get my head off the pillow, but I did, and I called in sick at work and crashed back down again for a few more hours sleep. 2 hours later, the phone jangled me awake again. Ugh. I just can't come into work today. I feel sick. I have a headache. I wasn't lying. But the voice on the other end of the phone didn't sound like my boss. This voice was soft and gentle and caring. Sounded more like my social worker than my sales manager. Oh no. Jim and I had been married for 3 years. We were aching to start a family. Just wasn't happening. I talked to my girlfriend about this. I just can't get pregnant, I confessed. Ever thought about adoption? Not yet. If you're wondering where babies come from for adoption, they come from people like me, she said. What? I'd never heard that before. She was a close friend, really? I was only 18, she said, and seemed like the sensible option at the time. Jim and I talked it over. Sounded good. Let's apply to adopt a baby. Easier said than done. The adoption process was endless. Letters, phone calls, interviews. Even our friends had been asked to write a letter of recommendation for us. It had been 2 years. I remember now I had just recently phoned social services just to rattle their cage, to tell them we're still here and we're still wanting a baby. Now here was this Jason on the phone, talking about it being cold outside and looks like snow. And do we have any plans for Christmas? What? Christmas? This was a really nice guy. He was sweet and kind and gentle. But I was losing my patience. Jason, have you got something important to say? Yes, he breathed. Oh my goodness. My head shot off the pillow. My eyes wide open. My throat was clear. Hangover? What hangover? I didn't have a hangover. Where's Jim? Jim? Jim was in the shower. Jim, get out the shower. Jason's on the phone. He's got something important to tell us. Jim dripped into the kitchen. and I thrust a phone into his hand. We both heard together. 3 days earlier, a little baby had been born, and her mother had chosen us to be her parents. Phone me back this afternoon, said Jason. Tell me your answer. Do you want to go ahead with this? What? Go ahead with this? Jason, this phone call we've been waiting for 2 years. Of course we want to go through with it. Talk it over between you and phone me back, he said. We laughed, we cried, we hugged, we kissed. What next? 2 years prior, Jim's sister had offered us all her nursery items as her children were growing up. But I didn't want a bassinet and a change table and a crib and watch it being empty for the next 2 years. So I had said no. All those items were in Jim's mum's basement. We couldn't remember what we had, what we didn't have, what we needed. Let's go to the bay, I suggested. I have to take back your jacket anyway, it's too big. We'll get inspiration from the baby department. Crazy. So off we went to the bay. As I walked up to the cashier, I couldn't keep it in a minute longer. I had to tell someone. We're going to have a baby this afternoon, I told her. Really, she said. You don't look pregnant. No, we're going to adopt. We're going to adopt a little baby. I'm going to be a mother. I just had to hear the words. I'm going to be a mother. We're having a baby. A week later, we were on our way to the hospital. Jim all dressed up in his crisp white shirt and a pleat down his pants, and me in a brand new outfit. We looked more like we were going to a job interview than having a baby. The social services had told us if we had thought of a name for our baby, we should not mention it in front of the nurses. This was the 80s and it was a closed adoption. We decided on Susan Elizabeth. But we weren't to tell anyone. When we got to see our baby, the nurse changed her into the new onesies we just purchased and the fluffy pink blanket. On the elevator going down, the nurse was carrying our baby. And she said, "Thought of a name for her yet?" No, we lied. Not yet. Oh well, Susie Q, they'll think of something pretty. Did you hear that? Susan. It was meant to be. When we opened the doors from the hospital and stepped outside, it had snowed overnight. Everywhere was white. My breath was in the air. It was cold, and we crossed the parking lot, trudging through the snow. I inched into the passenger seat, and the nurse passed the baby into my arms. was still snowing outside, and I waved her goodbye. It was actually Jim's birthday. He said it was the best birthday gift ever.